Good evening and welcome to Alternative Off-Tube remote commentary of the UEFA Champions League semi-final second leg. It's Real Madrid in Manchester this evening, taking on Manchester City. I'm Russ Swinton, and alongside me is Paul James. The teams are getting ready to come out of the tunnel any second now. The teams are in the tunnel waiting to come out. Over on the commentary too, well, we wait for the teams to come out and in the tunnel right now. As the teams are in the tunnel is Middlesbrough against Coventry in the second leg of the Championship playoff final with Nicholas Jones. Kick-off there is at the same time as our match at between Man City and Real Madrid. Last week finished 1-1 with two fantastic strikes. And alongside me for this one this evening, was alongside me. I was alongside him last week. In fact, it's Paul James. And a very good evening to you, Paul. And should be a good game this one, really. And with the teams ready in the front of the kick-off, should be a good one. This. How do you see this game going, Paul?
Well, it's on a knife edge, isn't it, Russ? It's it basically 1-1. Away goals, as I understand, don't count double at this season. This one could very well be staring at extra time and penalties. I think if I'm being perfectly honest with you, Russ, it's a very difficult one to predict, but I really feel that Manchester City will just have the edge being the home team, and they've done incredibly well at home this season.
That they have, Paul, as the teams emerge from the tunnel right now ahead of kick-off. Teams are just coming out onto the field of play in this match between Manchester City and Real Madrid. The ball is being carried out by one of the mascots after she was given the ball by the referee this evening. We'll go through all that in just a moment or so. And if we just touch on last week's tie, Paul, just for a moment or two. Last week it was a fantastic game, 1-1, two great strikes. Just looking back on that game, do you think the draw in the first leg was a fair reflection on the match overall of the Bernabeu last week?
Yeah, I think so. I think both teams had played quite well. I don't think any team deserved to lose. Both wonderful strikes, Vinicius Junior's, of course, and then Kevin De Bruyne's. It was an entertaining game as well. It was good to watch. Obviously, both goalkeepers performing very well. You gave the player of the match to Thibaut Courtois, if I remember correctly. So I think what we're looking to see tonight is, again, it's going to be quite tight, and I think it's going to take some magic to separate these two teams this evening.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. As we're going to get a look at the teams in just a moment, as the Champions League anthem has just been ringing around at the stadium this evening ahead of kick-off, just going through the handshakes right now. So too is the two managers, which is Pep Guardiola of Manchester City and Carlo Ancelotti of Real Madrid. As we just look at the Man City side, and it's same side that drew 1-1 last week at the Bernabeu. So it's Ederson in goal, Walker, Diaz, Akanji across the back, Stones and Rodri in midfield, with Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan, the captain, and Jack Grealish in midfield. And behind, the lone striker of Erling Haaland. The bench includes two goalkeepers for Manchester City. I'll go through that in just a second or two. There's the match referees: Simon Marcinek from Poland, assisted by Paul Zazinski, and Thomas Leski from Poland as well. For officials from Romania, Isvan Kovacs, and VAR is Thomas Leski from Poland and Bartosz Frankowski, also from Poland. As for Real Madrid, they made one change from the side, which drew 1-1 with Man City last week. Eder Militao returns from suspension in place of Antonio Rudiger, who drops to the bench. They line up with Thibaut Courtois in goal, Danny Carvel, Eder Militao, David Alaba, and Eduardo Camavinga across the back. Federico Valverde, Toni Kroos and Luka Modric in midfield, with Rodrigo, the captain Benzema, and Vinicius Junior in attack. On the bench here for both sides, starting with Manchester City's Ortega and Carson, the two sub-goalkeepers, Calvin Phillips, Aymeric Laporte, Julian Alvarez, Ed Morris, Paul Palmer and Rico Lewis. As for Real Madrid, it's Andre Lunin, Jesus Valjo, Nacho, Eden Hazard, Marco Asensio, Alvaro Arizola, Lucas Vasquez, Aurelian Tchouameni, Denis Ceballos, Antonio Rudiger, Ferland Mendy, and Mariano Diaz as well. Should be a good one then, Paul. Looking at the two sides, Man City, as I just mentioned there, Paul, keeping it the exact same side from last week. Real Madrid making that one change as Man City get the game off and underway with Ilkay Gundogan kicking it all the way back to Edison in goal. Now it's into John Stones, who will look to come forward for Manchester City. Playing in one of the defensive midfield roles, Titan will drop back into the back line to make it a back four at times. We're looking forward to the key battles in this game, Paul.
Well, for me, Ross, it's Manchester City have gone with a very, very attacking lineup. Four there in the attacking midfield role behind Erling Haaland. So obviously they're really, really going to go for this. I think just on with that they're going to be able to deal with the midfield of Real Madrid. Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, and Valverde. They're gonna be under a lot of pressure today. I think Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne are the ones going to be ruling this midfield. Jack Grealish, of course, we all know what he's capable of as well. For Real Madrid, Toni Kroos, I think, is the key in midfield, along with Luka Modric, to create the chances for Karim Benzema and Vinicius Junior.
Yes, as here comes Rodri for Manchester City. Into Ilkay Gundogan, the captain. Now Manuel Akanji back into Rodri. We'll lose out to Karim Benzema. Akanji has to rush back to clear up and find Ruben Diaz. John Stones gets down wide to Kyle Walker's. Walker looks to put his foot on the ball and bring it forward up towards halfway. Down the line, it goes into Bernardo Silva. Silva cuts in from the right hand side and finds John Stones, who will look to play the ball across now to the left hand side of Akanji. Into Rodri now. Rodri lifts the ball up towards this near side for Bernardo Silva. Can't keep the ball in play and he runs out for a goal for a throw into Real Madrid. Deep midway inside their own half on the left hand side as they look to attack forward as Camavinga takes it into Luka Modric and then gets it back and clears up towards Karim Benzema, but Stones wins the header. So he brings it back into Kyle Walker by a throw in after an header out there from David Alaba. And now here is Rodri to Ilkay Gundogan, who will drop back into the midfield of Stones and Rodri, make it into a midfield three at times. So Man City will look to play a 3-2-3-3-3-1 formation at points this evening, as here's John Stones as one of the central defensive midfielders, play it out wide to Manuel Akanji, into Jack Grealish, into Ilkay Gundogan, back into Grealish. Now on the left hand side, Gundogan drops it back into Akanji, will look to get the ball forward again into Ilkay Gundogan. Grealish on the overlap, but comes inside. Here's Rodri into the path of Kyle Walker, who goes for goal, and it's over the bar in the end from Kyle Walker. The first real chance on goal there, coming from the England and Man City right back, was just over the bar in the end.
Yeah, it was an ambitious effort. There was other options there for Walker, and you can see De Bruyne just remonstrating with Kyle Walker a bit there. I think the blood just rushed to Kyle Walker's head a bit there.
Yes, I think you're probably right there, Paul. He saw his name up in the lights, wanted to give Man City the lead in the tie, and just couldn't take his eyes out of those lights ahead of him. As here is the Man City defender, Ruben Diaz, who will look to play the ball forward. Will he? No, it goes to Akanji on the left hand side. Down the line it goes to Ilkay Gundogan and back into Rodri by De Bruyne. And now here's Akanji again. Here's Erling Haaland, who plays the ball out wide to Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan chips the ball across to Kyle Walker, coming up towards halfway. Over halfway now, and he's got Bernardo Silva out wide, and he plays it to Bernardo Silva. Down the line into the path of Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne looks to pull the ball in towards Bernardo Silva. Oh, can't get there, man. As Real Madrid just tied in with Vinicius Jr. playing the ball across field. We're giving it away to Kanji. Now Grealish. Here's Rodri now. Good first start to this game from Manchester City. This is what they were like last week at points as well. On the front foot and camping in the opposition's half. And they did that a few weeks ago against Leeds United. And now that's wide to Jack Grealish. Grealish puts the ball in towards the penalty area, looking for Bernardo Silva in the back post. Waits for Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne inside the penalty area now. De Bruyne chips the ball in, looking for Erling Haaland. He's headed up in the air back Eder Militao, and into the arms it goes of Thibaut Courtois. And coming up towards 5 minutes there, Paul, and Man City on the front foot at the moment.
Yeah, they're starting, as you said, to camp in the Real Madrid half, playing possession football in the Real Madrid half. This is what Manchester City do anyway against most teams. They play possession football and they create their chances. It's a steady start by the citizens.
Yes, as it is Bernardo Silva up on this right hand side, attacking Edouard Camavinga, and he takes it past him. Runs towards the edge of the penalty area. Vinicius Junior gets the ball, according to the referee, and Bernardo Silva gets back to win the ball back again, but it's Toni Kroos who keeps the ball in play for Real Madrid. Plays it back inside to David Alaba. Alaba has the ball, but it's a free kick given against for a foul on Camavinga there by Erling Haaland, and the referee's gone straight across there to get the ball away. Haaland weren't happy. Bernardo Silva not happy as well, and Bernardo Silva has been spoken to there by the referee.
Well, it never helps. He won the ball. It wasn't a foul. And Erling Haaland's getting involved early on, I might add, and obviously Bernardo Silva is remonstrating with the referee. You don't want to pick up an early yellow card in this game. They need to be a bit more disciplined than this and keep their opinions to themselves.
Yes, it is a ball downfield from Thibaut Courtois from that free kick, looking towards Karim Benzema, but it's headed away there by Rodri. And Rodri challenges again with Benzema, and he breaks for Jack Grealish now and Kevin De Bruyne. Look like an handball from Grealish, but his play still continues. It towards Erling Haaland, round the goalkeeper, pulls the ball, but no one in there from Manchester City. And Manchester City's going behind Real Madrid there and almost punished them as coming again here now with Bernardo Silva.
Well,
Bernardo Silva keeps the ball in play. I'll come back to your point in a minute. Here's Rodri and then penalty. Rodri's still going. Rodri inside the penalty now. Rodri shoots, drags it across goal and wide. And that's another glorious effort from Manchester City, camping inside the Real Madrid half, and remains 0-0, 1-1 in aggregate.
Well, going back to the first pass from Kevin De Bruyne, I just want to touch on that. It's a beautiful pass to Erling Haaland. He did round the goalkeeper very, very well, but I think the angle was very tight. City missed a trick there. They didn't have anybody running into the penalty area. Real Madrid was stretched. They've got some forwards into the penalty area, could be in the lead by now. Rodri will look at that as a missed chance as well, as he got into the penalty area and pulled it wide. But lots of excitement early on. Ross looks like it's carrying on from the first leg.
Indeed it is, Paul, and this is what we want in an exciting game, in an exciting fan-frenetic foot-paced football match that we all love to see. And we'll keep you across the championship game between Middlesbrough and Coventry City as well. There is some WSL games as well. We'll tell you about those at half time, but our main focus today is on this game at the Etihad. Is Manchester City against Real Madrid, 0-0, aiming is gone 1-1 on aggregate. And Real Madrid have just conceded a free kick there for a foul over on that far side by Eder Militao. As Gundogan plays the ball back into Akanji. Good play this from Akanji, who goes back into the path of John Stones. And now here is Kyle Walker to get the ball forward. Walker chips the ball forward. Bernardo Silva fouls Edouard Camavinga and gives Real Madrid a cheap free kick away there. And Real Madrid have a cheap free kick inside their own half, couple of yards in from the touchline on this left hand side, and that's a silly free kick to give away from a player of Bernardo Silva's calibre, as Toni Kroos will line up to take this free kick. He plays the ball into Karim Benzema. Out to Camavinga, who won that free kick, and he wins another free kick for a foul by Bernardo Silva. And Bernardo Silva needs to watch his step here against Edouard Camavinga, otherwise one of these fouls is given away. He's going to pick up a cheap booking and going to tie up for the rest of the game. We'll come see what Paul reckons about that in just a moment, as we waited to see what happens with this Real Madrid free kick. It's Camavinga again, and Bernardo Silva straight onto him again. and he forced him to go all the way back to Thibaut Courtois, who kicks forward, left-footed with it all in red tonight as the ball breaks in the midfield, and here is Ilkay Gundogan. Into Jack Grealish and back to Manuel Akanji now. Rodri deep inside the Real Madrid half as they come forward. John Stones now plays the ball out wide to this right hand side of Bernardo Silva. Into Rodri inside on the edge of the penalty area. Chips the ball out wide to this left hand side and Jack Grealish. Grealish keeps the ball moving. Roll the ball back into Rodri, edge of the penalty area. Rodri gets the ball out wide, it goes there to Kevin De Bruyne, who delivers a wonderful ball in. Heads go up. Bernardo Silva's in there and Thibaut Courtois claims it well. We've got Paul going back to that challenge. The challenges from Bernardo Silva and Edouard Camavinga. He needs to be a little bit more careful, really, doesn't he? Otherwise, he's going to pick up a cheap yellow card and give away some cheap free kicks, which won't help his Man City side.
Yeah, no, you got to think the next time he gives one away that the referee's got to be thinking about booking him. He needs to calm down, and he needs to not be giving away free kicks like those two. Pointless free kicks to be giving away.
Yes, it is Ruben Diaz inside the centre circle, now out to this right hand side, and Kyle Walker midway inside the Real Madrid half. Here's John Stones to Rodri, into Ilkay Gundogan, playing out wide to Manuel Akanji. Akanji out wide to Jack Grealish. Here is Rodri now to John Stones. Akanji has Grealish on the overlap over on that far side and finds him. He's attacking Danny Carvalho inside the penalty. Rolls it behind Carvalho to Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan can't chip the ball in there, so he goes back to Grealish. Edge of the penalty area, Grealish. Rolls it back to John Stones. 25 yards out and Stones strikes. Goes wide in the end. And Man City still camping inside the rounded half. A lot of chances falling the way of the citizens now, Paul.
Yeah, they're dominating this first half so far. Real Madrid haven't been able to create any chances. They haven't had any sustained possession in Manchester City's half of the field. It has been all Manchester City so far.
It has Paul as Akanji picks up the loose ball from Ruben Diaz's pass. And now it is Rodri over halfway. Goes back to the centre circle and John Stones. Here's Walker back to Stones. As Messi just gone to a back four for a moment there. Stones now over halfway and venturing forward. Unchallenged, he's still going. Modric has to stop, watch him and comes across. Here's Bernardo Silva. Goes into the field. Rolls it into the path of Akanji out wide to Jack Grealish. I think that was aiming for Rodri though. Grealish leaves the ball into us. Erling Haaland! As he crossed the line. City think it has. The referee says no. And remember, it's surviving early chance there from Erling Haaland. And now we'll get both forced in a moment as Man City is still on the attack here with Bernardo Silva. Infield now to John Stones. The City coming again here. All right from Stones to Grealish. Down the right hand side. Goes infield and shoots just over from the left hand side, the corner of the penalty area. And just over there in the end from Jack Grealish.
Well, it was a beautiful cross by Grealish to Haaland. I expected him to score, but you'll see it's not barely even on the line here, let alone over it. But it's actually a good save by the goalkeeper. But yeah, I expected Haaland to do better there because it really was a wonderful ball in by Jack Grealish. But he was not able to divert it past the goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois.
Yes, and some of the City fans as well, Paul, over on that far side, thought it was in as well when the header from Erling Haaland, as you rightly pointed out, it was not very, very close. There were a few Man City players feeling like they went over the line, like Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, and Bernardo Silva were just three of those I saw peeling to the referee like crossed the line. But as Paul rightly pointed out, as we've just seen on that replay there, it was nowhere near over the line as we see Rodri find Manuel Akanji. Midway inside the Real Madrid half is Man City coming forward. Gundogan gives the ball away. But Man City win the ball back and he goes behind for a corner kick to the citizens. And this dominance so far inside the opening 14 minutes is just going to result in potentially an early goal in this game for the citizens, and one they will look to get and then just hold on for dear life and get through into the final and try and make it another step closer to that treble they're looking for. Here's Grealish, Taylor corner towards the penalty. Holland is in there at the near post, just over his head. Back to Grealish, Thibaut Courtois punch. Grealish inside the penalty. Still getting Jack Grealish. We loses out to Vinicius Jr. And now Gundogan delivers the ball in over the head of everyone inside the penalty area, including Erling Haaland, and is behind for a throw to Real Madrid. Came off, Bernardo Silva was not happy with that. But City yet again, Paul, causing all sorts of problems inside that Real Madrid penalty area.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again, Jack Grealish is being very effective on the left-hand side. He's very good at what he does. He can kind of cut into the penalty area, get little balls into the box, or he can swing the long cross in. He's causing Real Madrid a lot of problems early on in this one.
Yes, yes, Camavinga looks to take the throw and he takes it to Benzema. And now Modric back to Camavinga. Camavinga's been put under pressure as Thibaut Courtois has to clear up first time with his left foot. Only as far as Kyle Walker. Modric gets the ball forward only as far as Rodri though. Bernardo Silva back to Walker. Walker with a crossfield pass looking for Manuel Akanji, who just snips in there ahead of Rodrigo. Valverde nips in, but illegally, according to the referee, foul on Ilkay Gundogan, the Real Man City captain. And now De Bruyne finds Jack Grealish. Grealish over on that left-hand side. In towards the penalty area it goes. Grealish does well. Back it goes into Rodri. Rodri inside the penalty, just out towards the penalty area. Comes to Akanji instead though, and Akanji will get it out wide to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne attacking that left-hand side. Low ball in. Just like ever likes, teams everyone like it. We put that low ball in across the face of goal between the goalkeeper and the 6-yard box. But good clearance in the end of the near post by Eder Militao, was back in the side this evening as we see John Stones in possession. Coming up towards 16 and a bit minutes gone, and it remains Man City 0, Real Madrid 0, as here is Jack Grealish coming forward. He's into Valverde now to play for a throw-in to Manchester City, which will be taken by Jack Grealish. Still 0-0 between Middlesbrough and Coventry. That match is over on the Coventry Up 2 with Nicholas Jones this evening. Coventry Up 2 only for that one. This game we're bringing you, and I'll tell you where this is in a moment, as it is Ilkay Gundogan with the ball in towards Erling Haaland, and it goes behind for a goal kick. This game is on the Commentary Hub, JB Sports, Storm FM, and our Twitch channel as well. Very good evening to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying this as we just see the Erling Haaland chance again, which was a fantastic save from Thibaut Courtois, and then Alaba managed to clear it away there, Paul.
Yeah, disappointing ball in by Gundogan there, just as leading up to that play. It was unfortunate, but the ball in wasn't his best. I know he's capable of much better.
Yes, it is. Manuel Akanji now for Manchester City into Ilkay Gundogan. Haaland does well to find Gundogan, who was fouled by Federico Valverde, and Real Madrid will have a free kick to defend. And was it this a free kick for you, Paul?
Well, he caught Gundogan after the ball had gone, so I would say yes, that's probably a free kick. Dangerous position. We all know what Kevin De Bruyne is capable of from here.
Yes, and it looks like he's just going to be De Bruyne to take this. With everybody else from the Manchester City persuasion, now Alpha plays this, majority of them anyway, inside and around the penalty area. We see Stones, Diaz in there, Kanji, Rodri, Haaland, Bernardo and Grealish, and Gundogan on the edge of the box as De Bruyne takes, and it's a poor one in the end, and he goes wide for a goal kick in the end there, and it remains Man City 0, Real Madrid 0, and that was a poor free kick from De Bruyne's standards, Paul.
Well, he pulled it just wide. I could see what he was trying to do, and Kevin De Bruyne is certainly capable of making that work. Unfortunately, his free kick just swung wide of Thibaut Courtois' right-hand post.
Yes, as here is Luka Modric, being played under pressure and concedes a throw-in the end. Nowhere for him to go there, no option for him to pass to. So did what he thought was best. As Akanji has the ball into Gundogan, and now back to Ruben Diaz. And Diaz will look up and will look to play the ball around well. Here's Kyle Walker, who just looks to come over halfway on the right hand side. Near right hand side as we look. from our vantage position, as here's a Kanji across there into Jack Grealish. Grealish on that left-hand side looks to cut in field. Here's Rodri, back into Grealish, back into Rodri again, and he goes all the way back there now to a Kanji. Now here is Rodri. Back to Akanji now as Akanji gets the ball down the line to Grealish. Here is Akanji once more into Rodri. And now here is Stones. And Stones will come forward for Manchester City. Kyle Walker now will look to get the ball forward. Bernardo Silva opposite on his way to De Bruyne. De Bruyne right hand side in towards the penalty area against Luka Modric. And he just wins his side of the corner there. Challenge off Luka Modric. Well, that's good play from Kevin De Bruyne in the end there, Paul.
Yeah, just trying to get away from Luka Modric there. It was a good challenge by the Croatian, and gives Kevin De Bruyne an opportunity with a corner now.
Yes, we can see what Real Madrid do with this corner now, Paul, and whether they have a chance to whether they defended brilliantly. It's Bernardo Silva back to Kevin De Bruyne in towards the penalty, towards the back post. Akanji has it back across. Haaland is there! Fantastic save by Thibaut Courtois to keep this a 0-0.
Oh, what a save. What a save. And the ball in by De Bruyne was fantastic. And it's at full stretch there is Thibaut Courtois denying Erling Haaland, continuing the form he had in the last game.
Yes, as the ball's back in towards the penalty, over there to everybody and behind for a goal kick, this time to Real Madrid. But this score, with that save again, Paul, could be a match-winning one if Real Madrid go on to get something from this game.
Yeah, I mean that was a superb save. It was a good header. Haaland he did everything right. It just was not. It was at full stretch. Was Thibaut Courtois? It was a fine save.
Yes, as Man City forcing Real Madrid into making mistakes down near the corner flag, near their own penalty area, but they've been forced backwards after that throw-in. Now they've just took with with Jack Grealish there, was very, very poor. And now here's Stones to Walker. Walker will drop it to Ruben Diaz. And now Diaz will look up and will look to come forward for Manchester City. Here's John Stones inside the centre circle, spreading it out wide this right hand side, looking towards Bernardo Silva over his head and behind for a throw-in. And 22 minutes on the clock here, Paul, halfway through the first half. What's been your interpretation of the match so far? Who do you think started the better of the two?
Well, it's very one-way traffic, isn't it? Hold on, I'll let you finish this up.
Yes, as is Jack Grealish on towards the edge of the penalty area. Grealish looks to keep the ball moving for Manchester City, and he goes towards the left-hand side. He pushes in field and finds Rodri. Rodri now will look to play a pass, and it's out wide here to Bernardo Silva. Down the line it goes into John Stones. Stones gets the ball back to Walker. Walker inside to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne with the ball through to Bernardo Silva. And Bernardo Silva has scored! Manchester City take the lead on the night and on aggregate. And it's Bernardo Silva who gives the citizens the lead. It has been coming. And Manchester City now, Paul, have a 1-0 lead. 23 minutes on the clock. It's Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. It's Bernardo Silva 2 on aggregate.
Yeah, too easy actually. Way too easy. If you look at the pass that was played through to Bernardo Silva, and we'll see it again in the replay here, you can see it right here. It goes, first of all, Real Madrid here, they've given Bernardo Silva too much space. Straight to De Bruyne. De Bruyne's pass splits the two defenders, and, Bernardo Silva just is left there one-on-one, just like that. There's nobody even close to Bernardo Silva. It was too easy. And, he picks his spot well. It's a really good finish.
Yes, a good finish there, Paul. But some question may be asked of Thibaut Courtois as well, Paul. Should never get beaten at his near post, which he's just done there. And Bernardo Silva on 23 minutes has given Manchester City the lead. 2-1 on aggregate, 1-0 on the night. And Bernardo Silva has just put Man City 1-0 up, and as I just said there, Paul, could be a bit of blame for Thibaut Courtois for getting beaten at his near post.
Well, it's one-on-one. I don't want to be too harsh, but yeah, you could make a case for the fact that he shouldn't be beaten on his near post. But it was one-on-one with Bernardo Silva. Really, the defense was just not there, and the just split the two defenders that were nowhere near Bernardo Silva anyway. So I mean, it was really a chance you'd expect him to take.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. Absolutely, my friend. And a big shout out to Ailey who's tuned in as well. Hopefully, you're doing okay. Ailey, thank you very much for listening in. As here is Bernardo Silva into the path of Rodri, who just keeps hold of the ball and keeps him moving. Back to Kyle Walker now, as Man City lead by a goal to nil. If you just joined us, Bernardo Silva with a superb finish after Kevin De Bruyne splitting the two defenders and put the Manchester City winger in to score for the citizens up against Real Madrid. As here's Kevin De Bruyne who almost got through there, but Kroos intercepted well. Back to Thibaut Courtois, who needed to do better at the near post in my opinion, but as Paul mentioned, the ball through was just too good in the end. I think he could see where I was coming from. As here is Luka Modric trying to pick out Vinicius Junior, and now here is Bernardo Silva, the goal scorer, who could have been picked up a booking early on, as the ball will come forward. He's out wide with Jack Grealish now for Manchester City, brings it back there into the path of Rodri, and now John Stones. Good play this is now. Here is the ball out wide to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva cuts in field. Still got Bernardo Silva into the path of Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan into the path of Erling Haaland! And just wide from the Norwegian. And that was a decent effort in the end. And Bernardo Silva and Man City knocking on the door again, Paul.
Yeah, it's only going to be a question of time before they score again. That was a great turn by Erling Haaland, just enough to just get a shot away. Pity he didn't get it on target, but that was a good effort.
Yes, this is Vinicius Junior, and there's a appeal of an handball given against Vinicius Junior there. I need to see a replay of that. I'm not sure if he did strike his arm as he tried to get away from Walker and John Stones. As is Bernardo Ilkay Gundogan looking to get the ball forward from Manchester City. Ilkay Gundogan has got Bernardo Silva, the goal scorer, out wide on this right hand side. Loads it into John Stones, and Stones turns away and finds Rodri. Rodri plays the ball out wide to the path of Akanji. Here's Ilkay Gundogan. Out wide to Jack Grealish. Grealish down on the left hand side, attacking the penalty area. Brings it back to Ilkay Gundogan. And now in Akanji, now back towards halfway, and Ruben Diaz. Back on halfway is Kyle Walker. Lets the ball underneath his foot, and then he's able to control it in the second attempt to find John Stones, who goes back to find Ederson, and now back to John Stones again. Stones down the line into Kevin De Bruyne, as Man City just knocking the ball around with comfortable ease, as Rodri finds Akanji. Almost 28 on the clock, going towards 28 minutes on the clock, is Man City 1, Real Madrid 0. Jack Grealish attacks forward, cutting in field from the left hand side, still getting Jack Grealish, and he can't pick out Erling Haaland in the end. Well, that's another good one from Grealish, all this time cutting in from the left hand side, and almost finding the perfect ball to Erling Haaland.
Yeah, it was a nice. It's what he's been doing all the way through this match, actually, just cutting inside into the penalty area, and he's been making a nuisance of himself since the kickoff, really. Real Madrid they don't look like Real Madrid right now, to be honest. They're being owned at the moment. They're not getting possession. They are not able to create chances in the opposition half. City are constantly pressing them back into their own half, and this four attacking midfielders is really working for Pep Guardiola right now.
Yes, there's a throw-in for Manchester City after Rodrigo couldn't keep the ball in place. Now it's Ruben Diaz on possession. Back it goes into the path of Akanji, and Rodri has got all the way back to Ederson. Vinicius Junior almost closed him down and won the ball off him, and he's out towards our left-hand side, and a throw-in which will be taken over on the far side by Ruben Diaz. But Carvalho's just holding his face there for a moment. Don't forget West Ham in Europa Conference League action tomorrow against AZ Alkmaar, currently 2-1 up from the first leg of the Hammers. Find out if they get through via our Twitter feed, a commentary live one tomorrow, as we bring you commentary tomorrow of the playoffs between Peterborough and return leg when they go to Hillsborough against Sheffield Wednesday. Peterborough leading 4-0 from the first leg in that one. As we see Manchester City, who lead by a goal to nil, having to chase the ball at the moment. As we see almost 30 minutes on the clock, Paul. And what's been your take on the opening 30 minutes of this match? And Man City really do deserve this lead at the moment, don't they?
Oh yeah, they could have had two or three, and at the moment they've been well on top. They're controlling everything. The game is being played in Real Madrid's half of the field right now. City playing possession football. When they lose the ball, they get it back very quickly because they defend so effectively all over the field. So Real Madrid don't have the ball for long. When they do have it, they just look at the moment like this is a very one-sided game at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. Absolutely, my friend. As we see Manchester City still leading by a goal to nil against Real Madrid. Thanks to Bernardo Silva's goal on 34 minutes, as Man City just keeping all of possession when they can, and as Paul said, winning it back very, very quickly when they lose it. It is John Stones who winning from that free kick, but then he's giving the ball away to Toni Kroos now, and see how quick Man City get this ball back, Paul, if they can. As here comes Karim Benzema now on this near side for Real Madrid, inside to Vinicius Junior, back to Benzema, and then Man City have just won it back quickly, but they've given the ball away again as Edouard Camavinga finds Toni Kroos, who finds Luka Modric. Camavinga, Rodrigo plays the ball through for Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior inside the penalty. Still been Vinicius Junior, but what a challenge there from Kyle Walker to get back and get the ball away from Manchester City via Kanji as well. That's a good bit of play. We'll get your thoughts on that in a moment as Man City come away over halfway. Here is Grealish into the path of Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne doing really, really well to keep all of possession for Manchester City. Now here is Ilkay Gundogan to Rodri to Stones as Man City just keep the ball well. Bernardo Silva now has possession on this near side of the right. He goes in field from the right hand side into Rodri, who just keeps hold of possession and comes forward. Rodri gets the ball out wide to Akanji on that left hand side. Akanji drops into Haaland. Let's play 1-2 with De Bruyne, but Real Madrid defending really, really well. And now here they try and break away with Luka Modric up towards halfway, and there is Rodrigo, should I say. Rodrigo gets the ball through towards Karim Benzema. Can Benzema get there? No, he can't. And there's Ederson to come out and claim. And that's probably the really only time he's in this first half, Paul, that Ederson's had to come out and get the ball.
Yeah, he's barely touched it throughout the first half, hasn't he? But it was a good attempt by Real Madrid, that. Nice pass through to Benzema. But, yeah, I mean, if you just saw the possession stats flash up a few moments ago, it's 76% possession for Manchester City in this first half. That is an incredible amount when you're seeing two teams who are so balanced in terms of their capabilities. They're not this is not Manchester City versus a team in the Premier League that's not at their level. We're looking at two of the best teams in Europe here.
Yes, and I'm just got the possession stats up here now, Paul, as you just mentioned it. Manchester City, average possession, 75%. Real Madrid, 25% in this first half so far from what I've got up here. So, Man City having a lot of the possession, and Real Madrid not really having much to do as they just win a corner through Dani Carvajal over on that far side as we're just looking at the possession stats for this game. We'll keep you up to date with how Middlesbrough against commentary gets on throughout the evening. That's over on Commentary Up 2 if you want to listen to that one with Nicholas Jones, your match commentator for that one. We're on Commentary Up, JB Sports, Storm FM, and our Twitch channels. Luka Modric delivers this corner towards the penalty. Militao heads it away for Manchester City, even though he's playing for Real Madrid. Picked up by Rodrigo. Down the line into Karim Benzema, left hand side. Benzema drops it back into the path of Toni Kroos, who lines up an effort and one effort off the crossbar in the air from Toni Kroos, and he bounces behind for a goal kick to Manchester City. And that's the first real attempt on goal from Real Madrid in this game, Paul.
Yeah, this is what Toni Kroos has done his entire career. Uh, those kind of efforts are synonymous with him. What a superb strike, and it's dropping, and Ederson isn't getting there. It's one of them, isn't it? It just smacks against the crossbar. On target, it would have been in.
Yes, absolutely, Paul, absolutely. And here's Man City now. No, they've just got away with one there. 9 attempts for Manchester City, 1 for Real Madrid. 3 on target for Man City, none on target for Real Madrid. And this is why Man City are so good and so on for the treble this season, with the Premier League almost in their grasp now. Can even win it on Saturday. Arsenal fail to beat Nottingham Forest, but if not, a win or a draw, depending on how Arsenal go on the weekend, will do it for Manchester City. And what a season Pep Guardiola has had. He could complete the first part of the treble on this weekend, the second on the 3rd of June, and if we get through this, the last on the 10th of June. And it'll be a fantastic season in the end, Paul, for Manchester City and all citizen fans if City were to get a treble. I know at the start of the season and value for one reason or another, you probably didn't want Man City to do that, but phenomenal achievement nevertheless, and we'll get your thoughts on that in a moment, Paul, as here comes Jack Grealish to find Manuel Akanji down the line to Jack Grealish again over on that left-hand side. Grealish in towards the penalty area now to Ilkay Gundogan, and Ilkay Gundogan shot is blocked. Bernardo Silva's there again, and Bernardo Silva scores again. And Real Madrid, this tie is getting away from them. 36 on the clock is Manchester City 2, Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 3, Real Madrid 1 on aggregate.
Yeah, it's. I think at this point the tie is getting away from them. They don't look in this game really, apart from the one attempt, and you can see those Real Madrid fans. Apart from the one attempt by Toni Kroos, they have been pretty much outplayed in this one. And just looking at this goal again, Ross, they get a little bit of luck here to Manchester City. The ball breaks loose there off the goalkeeper and falls right onto the head of Bernardo Silva, and his finishing is first class there. Actually, it doesn't come off the goalkeeper, it just kind of bounces off the defender up in the air to Bernardo Silva, and that is a nice finish. But yes, it's going back to your original comment. It's City look unstoppable right now, and I think the treble will probably be theirs.
Yes, absolutely, Paul, absolutely. And this game just seems to get easier and easier every season on season, for Pep Guardiola's side. And now Ederson has possession, all in orange today, let me tell you. I forgot to tell you what colours. They're in Real Madrid, are in their black shirts, black shorts, black socks. Real Madrid, that is. And Man City in their sky blue shirts, white shorts, white sky blue socks. The match officials are in lime green shirts, black shorts, lime green socks, and Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois is in red shirt, is in all red this evening, and he could have a red face by the end of it if his side do not pull out anything from this game after he save a few moments before the opening goal from Ederson. Erling Haaland, should I say, as here comes Real Madrid, who will find Luka Modric, and now Alaba to Camavinga, Vinicius Junior linking up play with Rodrigo, and now Toni Kroos has possession, and now here is Luka Modric, who will try and seek out Danny Carvalho on the far side, will he? No, instead he goes to Rodrigo. That was Luka Modric, who loses out to Jack Grealish. And here's Man City coming away with the ball, as he knows a foul on Grealish by Rodrigo. And the referee says no booking, but just a free kick there. And I think anyone's asking for a free kick, thinking this is second challenge. 39 minutes on the clock here. Man City 2, Real Madrid 0. And Paul, I'm going to ask you a question here now, which I sometimes ask you. Well, normally ask you at half time. I'm going to ask you right now, though. How does Carlo Ancelotti change anything from in this tie and get back into it? I'll let you answer that in a moment. As Man City just win themselves another free kick is a foul on Bernardo Silva by Edward Camavinga. And you can be thinking about your answer to that question, Paul. How does Carlo Ancelotti get anything out? Side get back into this now? Does he get anything out of this Real Madrid side moving forward in this tie? You can think about that as we watch this free kick, which will be taken by Kevin De Bruyne on this right-hand side, and it'll be swung in towards the penalty area. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 up from the back, which will be Akanji, Stones, Diaz, Walker, probably in there as well. No, it's Haaland, Akanji, Diaz, Rodri, Stones. Walker's the only one staying back, incidentally. As here is Kevin De Bruyne to deliver the ball in towards the penalty area. It's a poor one from his standards, where he wins himself a corner off of Rodrigo. But quickly, Paul, how does Real Madrid get back into this, and what does Ancelotti need to do to get back into this as well?
Well, I'd add an additional man in midfield if it was me, and I might also bring on Eden Hazard. He's on the bench, he's creative, and there's also the option for Tukameni on the bench as well. So, I mean, I don't know whether he's going to do that at half time or if he's going to wait until maybe the 60-minute mark, but I think right now he needs to do something. This is not working for Real Madrid.
Yes, it is a corner then for Manchester City, headed away in the end there by Real Madrid. Bernardo Silva pulled the ball back towards the penalty area. Karim Benzema tries to get the ball forward. Bernardo Silva blocked, but then the ball forward looking through Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior can't find either of them. And the ball's back with Edison. 4 minutes to go until the half-time break, and it's Man City 2, Real Madrid 0, Man City 3, Real Madrid 1 on aggregate. And Real Madrid just win. Concede a throwing, should I say, as Man City. Looks like it's going to be Manchester City who's going to be heading to the Champions League final against Inter Milan, after Inter progressed last night 1-0 winners over the Italian rivals AC Milan in the Milan derby. As here is Bernardo Silva, the scorer of both Manchester City goals on 23 and 37 minutes respectively. Here is Rodrigo for Man City into Bernardo Silva now. And now Bernardo Silva looks to get out wide to Kevin De Bruyne. Ball in towards Rodri. And now here is John Stones out wide to Kevin De Bruyne. Rodri again. Back to De Bruyne. Camavinga slips as Rodri plays it to Akanji. I think the part of that pitch is a bit watered from the sprinklers just before kick-off, and he's probably just first time he slipped though, but probably just loosening those boot studs are loosening a little bit, probably after all the running he's had to do defensively there, Camavinga, to try and stop Man City getting forward as Stones drops the ball back to Akanji over on that far side. As we see the ball in towards Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne sees the run of Erling Haaland, but he's put too much on that and he runs harmlessly through to Thibaut Courtois. And then Valverde just loses out to Jack Grealish. And there is Rodri, can't get the ball through to Haaland. Rodri has a second attempt to get through, but he goes to Ilkay Gundogan instead. Ilkay Gundogan spreads the ball out wide to this right-hand side, and it's Bernardo Silva. He's got catwalk on the overlap. Bernardo Silva comes in looking for an hat-trick. He goes to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne is there. Tries to pick out Erling Haaland, but the ball is out of play for a goal kick to Manchester City. Almost the end of this first half then, Paul. Your overall assessment on that first half?
Well, it's just been a game that's been dominated by Manchester City. Control, possession in the Real Madrid half. When they lose the ball, just look at how quick they get the ball back. And they're preventing Real Madrid from creating anything really. Only Toni Kroos has managed to be able to get anything near a shot on goal.
Yes, as here comes Rodri for Manchester City, racing his way forward. He gets the ball out wide to Jack Grealish. Grealish attacking down the left hand side, comes into Rodri. Out wide to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva cuts in field. Bernardo Silva goes for goal! And there's a save there from Thibaut Courtois in the end. But that's the first chance that Bernardo Silva has had on goal in this game, which was not found the back of the net, which was a fantastic stop, even though it was straight at him. Fantastic stop nevertheless from Thibaut Courtois. So Camavinga on the edge of his own box goes out to Erling Haaland, and then Rodri nips in. Here's Kevin De Bruyne inside the penalty area. De Bruyne chips towards the back post and Jack Grealish. Grealish keeps the move alive. Ball peeling, the ball went out of play. Grealish has kept the ball in at Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan on the edge of the penalty area to Rodri. Rodri spreads it out wide to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva has got De Bruyne on the overlap when he finds him. De Bruyne pushes the ball in. Comes to Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan sets up Haaland. Now Akanji. Akanji goes for goal. Shot blocked by Alaba behind for a corner. And we're coming into stoppage time now. Not sure how many minutes of stoppage time there's going to be. And Man City have won a corner at the end of this first half, Paul.
Yeah, Real Madrid are not closing City down well enough. You look at the Akanji effort there, nobody's closing him down. Bernardo Silva effort that you mentioned was a good save by Courtois. Again, nobody's closing him down. They're making it too easy for Manchester City right now.
Yes, and Man City have got a corner then, which will be taken by Jack Grealish over on that far side as we get ready towards the end of this first half. Not sure how many minutes of stoppage time there's going to be. No mention of that at the moment. As Jack Grealish will take this corner in towards the penalty area, looking towards John Stones. Courtois punches the ball away, and he's played around about a minute of first half stoppage time. And it's Manchester City 2, Real Madrid 0. Man City 3, Real Madrid 1 on aggregate. 2 a brace for Bernardo Silva, 1 on 23 minutes and 1 on 37 minutes is the difference at the break. And just to tell you, in the game at the Riverside in the Championship playoff semi-final second leg this evening is still 0-0 into first half stoppage time. Closing stage of the first half there is over on Commentary Up 2 with Nicholas Jones. Elsewhere tonight in the Women's Super League, Everton 1, Arsenal 4 is a full-time result. 32 minutes on the clock is West Ham 0, Chelsea 1, as there is still, as there goes the half-time whistle now in the Championship playoff matches. Middlesbrough 0, Coventry City 0. Still 0-0 in aggregate. It looks like that one could be going all the way to extra time for Nicholas Jones over on Commentary Up 2. So if that's the case, after we've finished, we'll switch across to the other side. So we're going to take a quick break now. When we return, we'll dissect the first half and then look at what could happen in the second half. Half time then in this match between Man City and Real Madrid is Man City 2, Real Madrid 0, Man City 3, Real Madrid 1 on aggregate. Welcome back to the Common Chubs coverage of the match between Real Manchester City and Real Madrid. Man City lead 2-0 on the night, 3-1 on aggregate after a 1-all draw last week at the Santiago Bernabeu. Two goals from Bernardo Silva as the Citizens 2-0 up. One on 23 minutes and one on 37 minutes as well. Alongside me tonight, I'm Russ Vennon, and alongside me is Paul James, and we're going to get Paul's thoughts in just a second. Well, we can get them now, in fact, at the kick-off in the second half. And Paul, we're both back from his half-time refreshments and half-time break there. What have you made to that first half in the match between Man City and Real Madrid, and how do you see the second half going, and who do you think would be the happier of the two in that first half in terms of managers?
Well, it's been very dominant by Manchester City. They've controlled possession. They've had the better chances. I mean, it could have been 4 or 5, Ross. I think right now, if you're Pep Guardiola, you've got to be thinking very satisfied. No need to change anything. Everything is working very, very well. In contrast, Carlo Ancelotti is in a lot of trouble right now. His Real Madrid team are not functioning. They've not created chances. Tony Kroos, of course, having that one shot which rattled the woodwork, but they really haven't created anything from that. Ederson, of course, has not been forced into any real saves. He's it's been they've spent such little time in the Manchester City half of Real Madrid. I think that they're going to have to make changes at half time. I'll be very surprised if Carlo Ancelotti doesn't make any changes because it's so one-sided right now.
It is, Paul. You mentioned it's so one-sided right now. When you look at the substitutes that Carlo Ancelotti has got to, to him in terms of attacking options, he's got Eden Hazard, Marco Asensio, Lucas Vazquez, Aurelien Tchouameni, Dennis Ceballos, who's all forward options. Mariano Diaz is another forward option there. So I've just named six of their subs bench as there is the attacking options on there as well, Paul. Who do you think he will turn to first out of those options if he wants to fetch anyone on? Would he fetch on likes of Marco Asensio, who has done well in La Liga this season? Eden Hazard, who's not really played much football and played at the weekend? And Lucas Vazquez, same as Hazard, not really played much in terms of football recently. Or do you think he'll turn to someone, say, a bit more like Aurelien Tchouameni to try and get a bit of bite in that midfield and try and get back on the ball a bit more in midfield?
Well, there are plenty of options, as you mentioned, Ross. I'd be very tempted to bring on Eden Hazard. He's used to playing against English teams for his time at Chelsea. I mean, Tchouameni is a World Cup runner-up with France. Vasquez is also available. Ceballos, but he has to change something. And I think he needs an extra man in midfield. He's being overrun in midfield right now. So if it was me, my first port of call might be to Eden Hazard.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. Absolutely. It doesn't look like Man City are going to be making any changes, and why would they after the first half dominance? We'll see if Real Madrid are going to be making any changes. And from what I can see, Paul, no changes as of yet. I'm wondering whether Carlo Ancelotti is just thinking, right, we'll see how this goes for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then if it doesn't go well then we'll make a change and try and get back into it. But I'm a little bit surprised he's not tried to change things straight away.
Very surprised. You're 2-0 down. There's 45 minutes left. And you're playing against an informed Manchester City team. I cannot understand for the life of me why he hasn't made any changes. I'm rather shocked at that, and to be perfectly honest.
Yes, as Karim Benzema gets the ball rolling in the second half, but Manchester City regain possession early on, but Man City have lost it again. It is Valverde. But Man City have won the ball back again. Now it's out wide. doesn't look like Danny Carver-Allen. The ball is cleared away downfield, but out of play for a throw to Real Madrid, which will be taken by Eder Militao, and run through the starting lineups again for you. No changes to either side to report at the break. So we'll go through those in just a moment or two as we see Eduardo Camavinga in possession for Real Madrid. A lot more possession for the Madristas in the second half as Kyle Walker now intercepts and the ball is coming forward. What can Real Madrid find a way back into this game? If anything, we'll see what Paul makes to the opening few minutes. Very, very shortly in the opening exchanges as Real Madrid have got the ball back again with Valverde. Out right, Karim Benzema on the right hand side. Down the line is Dani Carvajal, back towards Valverde, who goes back then to Eder Militao, and across it goes into the path of David Alaba. And now there's Edward Camavinga over on that far side. Down the line to Rodrigo. And now Camavinga again. There's Vinicius Junior on that far side. Rodrigo's on this near side for Real Madrid. As Camavinga gets the ball out wide to Luka Modric, who will look to get the ball forward, but goes back to David Alaba and Toni Kroos. And Toni Kroos will look to get the ball forward if he can turn away from Erling Haaland, and does so to Alaba. Down the line it goes into Camavinga. Camavinga gives the ball away as Rodri finds finds Erling Haaland, and Haaland wins him side a free kick. Let's run you through the City side. Edison in goal, Walker, Diaz and Akanji across the back. Stones and Rodri in the defensive midfield role. Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan and Grealish behind Erling Haaland. The bench is Ortega, Carson, Phillips, Laporte, Alvarez, Gomez, Mahrez, Foden, Palmer and Lewis. As for Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal, Carvalho, Militao, Alaba, Camavinga, Valverde, Kroos and Modric, Rodrigo, Benzema and Vinicius Junior. The bench of Lunin, Vallejo, Nacho, Hazard, Asensio, Relo, Lucas Vazquez, Tchouaméni, Ceballos, Rudiger, Mendy and Mario Diaz. As Kevin De Bruyne takes this free kick from Manchester City, going up towards the back post where John Stones was lurking. Breaks now for Jack Grealish on this near side. Grealish gets the ball towards Ilkay Gundogan. It goes into the path of Bernardo Silva, stretches the play out wide, but he gives the ball away. And now Bernardo Silva just gets the ball back to Thibaut Courtois, and Ederson should I say, for Man City, as he will try and come forward with Kevin De Bruyne trying to get the ball forward towards Erling Haaland, and Real Madrid tied you well at the back there up against the big Norwegian as Valverde will try and fetch the ball forward. Opening 3 minutes of the second half gone then. It's Man City 2, Real Madrid 0 as Dani Carvajal picks up possession. We'll get the thoughts of Paul James in just a second or two as we see the ball playing forward. Is Dani Carvajal to Toni Kroos, and Toni Kroos will try and get the ball forward, and he wins his side a free kick. Opening 3.5 minutes of this second half. Paul, what have you made to Real Madrid start in the second half? Because it seems to be a lot better than what they were playing in the first.
Well, they seem to be keeping the ball more now, do Real Madrid. It's early days yet, of course, but in the second half, well, having said that, there's a commentator's curse. They've just given the ball away.
As he is Kevin De Bruyne coming forward for Manchester City. And Militao wins the ball back off Kevin De Bruyne. And now Man City will have to get back into shape and try and stop this next Real Madrid attack. But that was good defending from Real Madrid after losing possession. Paul to get it back so quickly and coming away with possession. Now over that far side, it's Camavinga to Luka Modric. Inside to Valverde, back to Modric. And Modric spreads the play towards Dani Carvajal inside the penalty area. Karim Benzema's shot is blocked. And Man City get the ball away with Ruben Diaz. But Real Madrid, the first and second balls as the start of the second half. His early days, as Paul was mentioned, as is Karim Benzema tries to get the ball through towards Rodrigo, and Ruben Diaz has committed a foul, and the first yellow card there goes to Ruben Diaz for a foul on Rodrigo from Vinicius Junior there. And clear decision for you, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. Vinicius Junior was turning away from there. In my opinion, yellow card worthy. First real foul, but yellow card worthy.
Yes, free kick then. Toni Kroos and David Alaba standing over this free kick for Real Madrid. Probably, 25 yards out maybe, I reckon, for this free kick, which you can, which we'll be able to see here. I think it'll be Tony Kroos to whip this ball in, or will David Alaba surprise everyone and go for goal here? It will be David Alaba to go for goal! And just tipped over in the end from Ederson. And that is a decent effort from the Manchester City shotstopper there, Paul, from that free kick.
Oh, it was an excellent free kick as well. And you can see it's moving a little bit in the air, and it's a fine save.
And then there's two balls on the field of play right now. And John Stones is clapping the ball boy for throwing the two balls onto the pitch. We'll just see the effort again, which was a fine save, tipped over from Ederson in the end. And I wonder what the referee's going to do here. Will he give a drop ball, or will he, with, or there, Real Madrid tear their corner again? He's going to give a drop ball.
It's an interesting decision, Russ.
It is an interesting decision, Paul, and he's dropped it back to Manchester City. I'd like to see what actually happened in that incident there. But two balls were on the pitch after we come back from seeing the replay of the free kick from Real Madrid. And then the referee started with a drop ball to Manchester City, and now Real Madrid win a throwing over on that far side of the left as Luka Modric heads to Camavinga, puts the ball up into the air as there's a forward from Eder Militao, and headed back forward is Kevin De Bruyne now, and he tries to get Erling Haaland away. But that pass looking for Erling Haaland again is poor and cut out, and Man City can't get their big Swede in, not big Swede, big Norwegian in behind there. So to any Norwegian fans listening out there this evening, just want to say a big thank you as well to Ailey, who says she's enjoying the coverage right now as she's listening while she's at work. Hopefully work's going okay for you. Here comes Jack Grealish down the line. It goes for Manchester City inside to Ilkay Gundogan, in towards the penalty area from Ilkay Gundogan for Manchester City, left hand side. Here's Jack Grealish near side the left now. A City attack away to our left hand side and force a corner. Does Jack Grealish off with Danny Carvajal and Eder Militao there, and a push behind by Thibaut Courtois as well. But that's good play again from Manchester City down the far side as we see Stones, Akanji, Diaz all coming in. There's a Diaz and De Bruyne talking to on the edge of the penalty area. Erling Haaland just going into the box now. De Bruyne standing on the edge of the box. Grealish will take. There's Rodri, Akanji, Diaz, Stones, Haaland all inside the penalty area for Manchester City. As Grealish takes the corner towards the back post, heads go up, and is away by Modric, and Man City will try and have to get back to the defenders. Real Madrid try and catch them on the break. Man City wanted a penalty, nothing given according to this Portuguese referee from this Polish referee. Let's say, as here comes Jack Grealish now for the Citizens on this left hand side. Back he goes into Ilkay Gundogan, who lose out of possession and win inside a free kicking end for fouling by Federico Valverde. But Man City wanted a penalty down at the far end, Paul, but we're just seeing the challenge on Gundogan is a free kick for a foul on Gundogan, and this is a penalty claim. Paul, what do you reckon?
Not for me. Not for me. And I saw the referee there pointing at his mic and waving it away as if either VAR have checked it or VAR are willing to look at it. Not a penalty for me, Ross.
I didn't think it was a penalty at the time either, Paul, but I always like to get the experts' opinion, so to speak, as you are the experts to Mariza this evening. Paul James is alongside me, Russ Vernon, as it is John Stones, who will have possession into Manuel Akanji, and Akanji finds Jack Grealish. Down the wing it goes, and Grealish is foul there, and there's a yellow card to Danny Carvajal, who goes into the book for the first Real Madrid player going into the book for a foul there on Jack Grealish, and it remains 0-0 between Manchester City It remains 2-0 to Man City, 3-1 on aggregate. Danny Carval going into the book there for that foul on 56 minutes in the end, as we see.
Definitely a free kick, Ross, and probably a yellow card worthy as well. But I think the referee has done well to keep his cards in his pocket mostly today. It's not been an easy game to referee, I expect.
Yeah, but one thing I have liked, Paul, and I'll tell you that in a moment to see if you agree as well, as we see Kevin De Bruyne deliver this free kick in, is cleared away by Danny Carvalho for the near post. Comes back to Akanji, heads it back to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne will try and keep the move alive and keep the ball in play, which he does. Kevin De Bruyne into Jack Grealish inside the penalty area, and Grealish can't keep the ball in play and he runs out of room and behind for a goal kick. And one thing I have liked about this referee, Paul, which in England we don't see very often of this bit I'm about to say from referees, is not giving is giving the exact same decision to both sides for similar incidents, and also is explaining to the players why he's given that decision when they've moaned, and then after he's explained it, they've agreed with they've just gone with it instead of standing there and continue to argue. And I wonder if some of the Premier League referees should watch this performance tonight from the Polish man, says Simon Marcinak, and look at how he's doing it and start refereeing this way in the Premier League. I'll get your thoughts on that in a moment, Paul. As Real Madrid just have possession deep inside the Man City half, goes back to Alaba on halfway, and Real Madrid will try and build up with Luka Modric. Wide to Edouard Camavinga. Camavinga finds Valverde. Valverde into the path of Danny Carvajal, who's just gone into the referee's no book there for a foul on 56 minutes. Diaz is the other player in the book for a foul on 51 minutes as well. Remains Man City 2, Real Madrid 0. Man City just toying with Real Madrid as Jack Grealish wins his side a free kick. And Paul, do you agree with what I said about the referee, and do you think some of the Premier League refs should take a leaf out of his book this evening?
I agree with you entirely, Ross. And I've always said, and I've said for a while now, that perhaps the Premier League is we seem to bring in the best players from around the world. We bring in the best players from Europe into the Premier League and from around the world. I think we should do the same with the referees. I think there is definitely better referees out there in Europe and around the world that could serve well in the Premier League. Although I do feel at times it is sometimes the way we apply the rules in England that can also be a problem.
Yes, absolutely, Paul, absolutely. As I'm just hearing through my headset that there's been a goal in the Championship playoff semi-final between Middlesbrough and Coventry. I'll try and get that confirmation of who scored in a moment and what the score is there in just a second. And we have got confirmation now. And I can tell you that over on Coventry 2, it is Middlesbrough 0, Coventry City 1. Gustavo Amer on 57 minutes, 1-0 on aggregate for the visitors there. As here comes Real Madrid in our match as the ball is over on that far side now for Real Madrid with Vinicius Junior. But then there is the interception there brilliantly of Ilkay Gundogan, and now Kevin De Bruyne can get Man City on the counter-attack as he finds Jack Grealish. Grealish has slowed it down momentarily though, and now Ilkay Gundogan is moving the ball forward. Nicholas Jones has been in commentary of Middlesbrough Coventry on the Coventry 2. It's 1-0 to Coventry thanks to a goal from Gustavo Amer on 57 minutes there in that game. 1-0 on aggregate to the Sky Blues as well. So it looks as though it's going to be Coventry City who will go to the playoff final to take on Luton Town. There's a lot of time to go in that one. As is Kevin De Bruyne cuts in field, ball given away into Ilkay Gundogan, and then Carvalho gets back at him and shepherd the ball back to the path of Thibaut Courtois. As now here comes Real Madrid on the counter attack is Rodrigo plays the ball inside to the path of Modric, back to Rodrigo left hand side, runs ball across towards Vinicius Junior. It breaks on this near side to Karim Benzema. The Real Madrid captain, back to Dani Carvajal. Edge of the box is Luka Modric. Modric can't pick out Benzema as Grealish is in the way of his pass. And Grealish is blocked off there by Luka Modric. And Real Madrid giving away a free kick. Foul on Jack Grealish by Luka Modric. And Grealish stays down. And Paul, this could be a nasty one for Grealish.
Yeah, it looks like he's winded a little bit there, is Jack Grealish. Modric just cut across and body checked him. It's, my opinion, yellow card worthy, but the referee has obviously decided not to issue a card. But yeah, he just cut right across and body checked him. It was a deliberate foul, made no attempt to win the ball.
Yes, and from what I'm reading about that goal in the game which you on commentary up 2 with Nicholas Jones, it was a superb goal from what I'm reading from Gustavo Aimer to give commentary the lead against Middlesbrough in the game over on the commentary up 2. You're listening to the commentary up JB Sports and Storm FM here, and also on our Twitch channel here to Manchester City against Real Madrid. It's Man City 2, Real Madrid 0. Here's Jack Grealish on the left hand side for Manchester City. Breaks the way across there towards Rodrigo. Can't pick up the loose ball, and now here comes Rodrigo from Real Madrid, who gets the ball back to Thibaut Courtois this time, and across now to Edouard Camavinga. Camavinga down the line to Karim Benzema. Back inside to Camavinga, and Camavinga on to Rodrigo. And Rodrigo turns away. There's Vinicius Junior this time, and what a challenge there from Gundogan, but the referee disagrees and books Ilkay Gundogan, the Manchester City captain, and he goes into the referee's notebook for a foul. And all the bookings tonight, Paul, that's been given as bookings have all been for fouls, and that one was another one there, and I wasn't sure if I will get your thoughts on that one in a minute, as Real Madrid win the corner after brilliant play from Rodrigo down the right hand side. He takes it quickly to Toni Kroos, but the referee has said to stop. It's going to be a substitution here now as Antonio Rudiger is coming on for Real Madrid, and he's replacing Luka Modric. And are you surprised with this change that Real Madrid has made there, Paul?
No, not really. Rudiger does add some height up front, as well as being effective defensively, and they're struggling a bit defensively at Real Madrid right now.
Yes, it is. Carvalho with the ball back in towards a penalty, and it's cleared away. Kevin De Bruyne chasing after this as he tried to steal the ball and play for Manchester City, but he realised he wasn't going to get there ahead of Camavinga, so stopped in his tracks, and the Manchester City players get back in position, and the ball is being told to be left, and Walker just does his job calmly to nod it back to the path of Ederson, and Ederson will try and fetch this ball away. 63 minutes gone then, Paul. What's your assessment of how this second half has gone? And you would have thought Man City would have probably continued in the same dominance as what they did in the first half, but they've not really done that, have they?
No. It's been better by Real Madrid in the second half. They've actually dominated possession a little bit as well. But they still haven't really. They've only forced the one save out of Ederson, which was a good save as well, I might add. Going back to Ilkay Gundogan's challenge, yeah, that was definitely a yellow card. Didn't get the ball there, just caught the player. So I think the referee's been excellent today. I don't think the referee has made any mistakes today. I think he's been outstanding. We don't often get the chance to say that, so I just thought I'd mention that because I think he's done a really good job today.
He has indeed, Paul. As Ilkay Gundogan now for Manchester City into John Stones. Stones drops the ball back to Rodri. Across now into the path of Kevin De Bruyne. Out wide it goes to Bernardo Silva, the goal scorer for Manchester City. Here's Kevin De Bruyne, the linchpin of this Man City midfield. Gundogan now inside the penalty area. He loses out, and Rudiger gives the ball away as Camavinga tries to get the ball forward, and is out of play. Is that a free kick? I think the referee's given. I think he's given a free kick. De Bruyne not happy, saying it's a dive. It's a dive. Referee's not listening. The free kick's been given, and it's taken, and Real Madrid getting on with the game quickly as they try and get the ball forward. As here's Dani Carvajal on this near side into Rodrigo again. Now here Militao to Carvajal into the path of Antonio Rudiger. And now here comes Manchester City having to do some defending. We hit the back of Karim Benzema and Stones can just clear it away. But that's a fantastic flick around the corner to send Karim Benzema away by Bernardo Silva. Kevin De Bruyne just got lost in his ways there. Scamavinga intercepted and won the ball back well, and he's played out wide to the far side. And now here comes Real Madrid as the ball is in towards the penalty area, and he's just cleared away on the edge of the box by Akanji to Jack Grealish, and Grealish will now get the ball across there to the far side, and Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva will now give the ball to Akanji, who stuck out the leg to get it to Jack Grealish as Man City won the ball on the penalty area, just trying to stall this counter attack as Real Madrid had a bit of sustained pressure and possession of the football. As is Rodrigo intercepting, because of the commentator there, as here comes Vinicius Junior out wide to Karim Benzema. Benzema inside the penalty area, now outside the penalty area. Just from Toni Kroos, whose shot is deflected off at the back of Ilkay Gundogan. He breaks for Ederson, who clears downfield with his left foot up towards Erling Haaland, and Militao does really, really well, and so does Eduardo Camavinga to get the ball back as Militao goes down to his haunches, challenged by Erling Haaland. What do you make of this one, Paul?
Well, just want to look at this again. Yeah, he waves his hand out and connects with Militao. Accidental probably, but still a foul.
Yes, as here comes Real Madrid in possession with Eder Militao, who will try and come forward in this game as Militao looks to get the ball forward for Real Madrid. He can play the ball out wide. It's Danny Carvajal into the path of Federico Valverde. Here is Camavinga to Rodrigo. Benzema loses out as Kevin De Bruyne can charge forward. Over on that far side, he's got Erling Haaland in the centre. Up in his own over on that far side. Plays a low ball across the face of goal. No one was on the end of it. Haaland couldn't get on the end of it. And then it's Eder Militao to fetch the ball away from Real Madrid. But Man City are playing really, really well now, starting to get back on the front foot. But Real Madrid, Paul, still having their chances as well.
Yeah, they're getting to the edge of the area, all right, Real Madrid. They're keeping possession more, but they're still not creating chances. There is still Manchester City are still closing them down, dispossessing them very easily, defending very well all throughout their own half, and even in the Real Madrid half when they lose possession. They're making it very difficult, and they break out in numbers to City. Here's another sign of it here.
Yes, it is Jack Grealish now on this near left-hand touchline. Grealish drops it into the path of Manuel Akanji. Akanji now finds Rodri just inside the Real Madrid half. And now it's Kevin De Bruyne on the edge of the penalty area. Back into Ilkay Gundogan. Out wide on this left-hand side is Grealish. Inside the penalty now, Jack Grealish. Still going Grealish. Pulls the ball across. Eder Militao's there to defend well. And finds Valverde, who will look to get the ball forward by switching the play to Alaba. But Real Madrid have conceded possession doing that. As is Bernardo Silva. Just keeps the ball in play over on that far side. He brings the ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Here is Man City just knocking the ball around well. We'll try and see if we can find you the attendance before we go off air at this ground tonight. As there's not an empty seat inside from what I can see. Paul, can you see an empty seat anywhere in this stadium?
No, it's full, and you would expect it to be. You'd expect it to be a sellout, Ross, a game like this. So it was very much even and in the bag after the first leg. So I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised to see a full house here today.
As Toni Kroos is being substituted now for Real Madrid, and coming on in his place is Marco Asensio, who will come on in midfield. And Toni Kroos, he does have one strike, Paul, where he hit the crossbar, but apart from that, he's not really done much today, has he, Toni Kroos? And do you think that's the reason why he's decided to take him off there, Paul? You can answer that in a moment, as here comes Valverde out wide for David Alaba. Now Rodrigo twisting one way then the other, and comes in field towards the edge of the penalty area. Vinicius Junior now has the ball out wide. It goes to David Alaba. Alaba's cross is blocked, Here's Marcus Asensio. Valverde. Vinicius Junior coming up towards the edge of the penalty. Still going Vinicius Junior. He goes down. No penalty given. He's behind for a goal kick. Well, do you think that's the reason why Toni Kroos has not really been able to get into the game much? Do you think that's the reason why he's substituted him this evening, Paul?
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, I think it's not just Toni Kroos. I think a lot of the midfield has been dominated. I think playing three in midfield against this four men attacking midfield and two men holding midfield was probably a bad idea. He's not been that effective today, and neither has Luka Modric or Valverde. I just think Carlo Ancelotti has got it wrong tonight.
Yes, and when you're looking at this game, Paul, when we first come into this game, Man City had won all their Premier League matches and drew in the Champions League. I'll come back to that point in a moment. It is Kevin De Bruyne on the far side. He can't keep the ball in play. He's bound for a goal kick to Real Madrid. Whereas Real Madrid, on the other hand, in their La Liga matches, they had won 3 and lost 1 of their last 5 in all competitions, the draw being against Man City. Do you think Man City's confidence was a lot more higher than Real Madrid, having looked at that performance there, Paul?
Oh yeah, I think Manchester City right now are probably the best team in the world. The football that they play is outstanding. It's amazing. Every level, from defence to attack, is absolutely spot on. I'm certainly no Manchester City fan, but you can't take that away from them. No matter what you might think of them, no matter what you might think of the financial charges over their head, you can't deny the football that they play.
Absolutely, Paul, and absolutely. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier, Paul, and we'll come back to that point in a moment. As Man City have pressure on that far side with Rodri, who finds a Kanji now on this near side. The Kanji ran about 25 yards out from goal, opted against shooting, went to De Bruyne and Haaland. Oh, it's back in from Ilkay Gundogan, and his effort comes off the crossbar, deflected onto the crossbar in the end of Thibaut Courtois. But that's another fantastic effort from Real Madrid to keep out, but Man City on top once again now, Paul.
Oh, it was a beautiful back heel by Ilkay Gundogan. Let's just talk about that pass first. Beautiful back heel. I think Haaland does everything right, but it's a wonderful save again by Thibaut Courtois. Gets his leg across to make that save, a brilliant kick save. And it just lands on the top of the crossbar, unfortunate for Erling Haaland.
Yes, it's going to be a corner, which will be taken by Jack Grealish on the near side. He goes towards the back post, and he's back in there, breaks away towards Haaland on the far post, with a foul being given inside the penalty area there for a bit of pushing and shoving there. As we just see that effort again from Erling Haaland. And I was wondering, Paul, whether instead of trying to shoot and try and curl it beyond him, whether he could have tried lifting it over him into the back of the net there, Erling Haaland. And probably had to his goals that he's got in all competitions this season, but he's had to go for a low effort, try curling around him. I think he probably should have tried chipping him there, in my opinion, but we'll see what you think about that in a moment. As Man City come forward again here with the goal scorer Bernardo Silva. He finds Rodri now to Akanji, as he managed to keep all the possession, did Rodri, for Manchester City, as they almost lost it in the middle of the park. Ilkay Gundogan now has possession, back to Rodri again, and he drops it back into the path of Diaz, and now Akanji. Good play this, as here comes Ilkay Gundogan, who looked to get forward. Jack Grealish cuts infield from the left hand side. Camavinga just gets touched the ball, does he? I thought he did, but the referee's given a free kick to Real Madrid, and there's a yellow card. I think that's for Camavinga, who's just gone into the ball there for a foul, and that's another booking for another foul there, Paul.
You know what? It might be for the for the way he reacted to it, Russ, because he reacted angrily. The referee wasn't flashing a card at first. It was only afterwards when he reacted angrily that the referee flashed the card. So he may not have given the yellow card, but this is again one of them, isn't it? Where the referee, where you know you've committed the foul, don't argue, don't make it worse for yourself. Try and be a little bit humble, and you might get away without a yellow card.
Yes, free kick then to Manchester City as they will try and extend their lead to 4 on aggregate, 3-0 on the night as De Bruyne whips this ball in and it's in there and it's in. I'm not sure got the final touch. We'll see in a moment. Orange
No goal.
claiming it, Kanji's claiming it, thinks it's an own goal in the end. But Man
Militao.
City will head their Militao it is. But Real Madrid are 3-0 down on the night, 4-0 down, 4-1 down on aggregate, and this now, Paul, is game over.
Oh yeah, this is done. I think at any stage, they were not in. They were not in it. They've not been in it throughout the game. They have played better, of course, in the second half. Have Real Madrid, but they've not been in this game in all truth. And you see the free kick swung in beautifully. It's a brilliant free kick. Absolutely brilliant free kick right into that corridor of uncertainty by Kevin De Bruyne. Militao has to go for it because Ruben Diaz is right behind him, and then it just comes off his chest and it just diverts past Thibaut Courtois the wrong way. And yeah, Manchester City fans can start booking their flights to Istanbul.
Yes, and it's Real Madrid who now looking at yet another defeat in the semi-finals. And I think they are checking for potential offside here, Paul. So this goal may not stand. The goal does stand, in fact. So Man City do lead 3-0, 4-1 in aggregate. And initially the goal was credited to Manuel Akanji. Initially for Manchester City's third, which, as you rightly pointed out, Paul, is being now given as an Eder Militao own goal on 76 minutes. 77 minutes on the clock. Man City 3, Real Madrid 0, Man City 4, Real Madrid 1 on aggregate in this game this evening. And this, Paul, it's never looked like Man City are going to get not other than a Man City victory since the first half ended. And yes, Real Madrid put up a spirited performance in the second half, but it was always going to be a Man City victory after the way the first half went.
Yeah, it's been that way. Like, I mean, okay, they've had more possession in the second half of Real Madrid. They have played better. There's no question about that. But they haven't created the chances, Ross. They've just been shut down. And they've been shut down by an amazing Manchester City defence and an amazing Manchester City performance. They have been on the money today of Manchester City.
They have, as here comes Manchester City again. We've been on our several wins, a throw-in over on that far side, the right, as Man City will try and come forward. You're listening to the home of alternative commentary. This is the Commentary Hub, but they're also live on Storm FM and JB Sports, and also on our Twitch channel as well. If you're tuned in while you're out and about, and you got us on YouTube at the moment, as Ilkay Gundogan is coming off, Jack Grealish is getting a hug from there as he makes way off the field. I wonder who's now got the captain's armband for Real Madrid, for Manchester City, as we see Man City making Ilkay Gundogan go off, and coming on in his place is Riyad Mahrez. And what have your thoughts of Ilkay Gundogan's performance today, Paul?
Oh, he's been outstanding. He's been outstanding from start to finish. He's just been part of that four-man attacking midfield that's just dominated from start to finish.
Yes, and while Paul was just talking there, there's been a couple of changes for Real Madrid, as well as Lucas Vazquez comes on in place of Dani Carvajal, who is the first of the changes. Well, there's going to be a triple change for Real Madrid here. Aurelian Tchouameni has come on for Edouard Camavinga in their other one, and it looks as though Karim Benzema has gone off as well. We'll try and get confirmation of that one in a moment, but 2 substitutions have been made for Real Madrid I'm sure I saw a third going off as well, however we're just going to get some instructions or a drink while the subs were being made there
Okay, so
again.
Camavinga has gone off, and Rodrigo has gone off.
Danny Carvalho's gone off as Danny Carvalho went off for Vasquez, not Rodrigo.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Rodrigo went off earlier, I think. Uh,
Rodrigo's still out there, Paul, in the moment. It was Cruz and Modric who went off earlier for
okay.
Real Madrid for a set. So the substitutes for Real Madrid is Vasquez and Germany come on, and Rodrigo has gone off. You're right, Paul. Dennis Ceballos has come on in his place as well. That's the third change there for Real Madrid, and their third and final change of the evening now for Real Madrid as well. So all 5 changes have been used, Paul, for Real Madrid. And are you surprised we've not seen the likes of Eden Hazard tonight?
I am surprised at that actually, primarily because of the fact that he's played against English teams. He understands the way that the Premier League it functions. I'm really surprised we haven't seen him, but I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? You make the manager makes a decision, and you got to do what you think is right.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. As here comes Real Madrid in possession with Lucas Vázquez. We see Phil Foden about to come on from Manchester City. That'll be their second change of the evening after Ilkay Gundogan went off for Riyad Mahrez a few moments ago. It is Marcus Asensio now as Eder Militao picks up possession. Aurelien Tchouameni now has the ball for the first time since coming on. Here's Dennis Ceballos, formerly of Arsenal. Plays into Benzema through to Vinicius Junior. Can he get a strike in there? Goes round to Karim Benzema. Benzema chips the ball up. Lucas Vázquez pulls the ball back. Shot comes in from the number 19 there, Ceballos. Comes in towards the penalty area. Here comes Karim Benzema. Back it goes to Asensio. Now, Man City have been forced on the back foot again. Ceballos plays the ball inside to Eder Militao. Militao back to Ceballos. As Real Madrid just keeping hold of possession. Ceballos. Good work from Dennis Ceballos. Plays in the 1-2 there with Valverde. And now here is Vinicius Junior in towards the penalty area, cleared away up towards Erling Haaland, and Real Madrid just winning the ball back there. Coming up towards the final 7 minutes of this game, Paul. Real Madrid have given it a good go in the second half, haven't they?
Yeah, they've given it a good go, but they've really been limited on what they've been able to do, just because Manchester City have just played so well.
Absolutely, Paul. As Phil Foden comes on now for Manchester City and going off. I'm surprised by this one, Paul. Not sure about you. It's Kevin De Bruyne is a man going off. And what performance Kevin De Bruyne has played tonight, Paul? Are you
It's been
surprised by him
outstanding.
going off?
Not surprised. I think the game's won at this stage. They've still got the Premier League game on Sunday to consider. They may not need to win the title, but on Sunday it might already be won, depending on what happens between Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. But so not surprised. But Kevin De Bruyne has been absolutely outstanding tonight. Absolutely, he's set up 2 goals, and he's just been a pain all night for Real Madrid.
Yes, absolutely. There is a free kick to Real Madrid, who will keep hold of possession. As here comes now with David Alaba to Karim Benzema, who tried to pick out Vinicius Junior on that far side, but as he tried playing out wide to Vinicius Junior came infield over on that far left hand touchline and gave the possession away to Manchester City via a throw in, which it looked as though Riyad Mahrez was about to take a throw in, and just behind him, about to take a throw in, was Kyle Walker. We end Riyad Mahrez left it for the right back in Walker to take the throw in instead. As here is the path of Bernardo Silva out wide to Kyle Walker, who drops the ball back there to John Stones, and he goes across to Ruben Diaz, and Diaz is just keeping hold of possession. As we see the game unfolding. It's Man City, who are leading by 3 goals to 0. A brace for Bernardo Silva in the first half before being added to by an own goal by Eder Militao. A reminder, over on the commentary hub too, this evening is the Championship playoff match between Middlesbrough and Coventry City. Still Middlesbrough 0, Coventry City 1. Gustavo Eimer on 57 minutes. Apparently it was a stunning strike to give Coventry 1 foot into the playoff final against Luton Town, who knocked out Sunderland yesterday. As we're going to be announcing our player of the match very, very shortly, with Paul James being the man to pick the player of the match. We'll go to Paul in a few minutes' time to find his player of the match. Hopefully everyone who's listening today is having a really good evening. And we'll see what we've had a comment in there. We'll go to that comment in just a second. As Grealish now plays to Stones, and back he goes to Grealish on this near side, as Grealish will keep hold of possession, rolls the ball inside, and then Militao intercepts. There's Dennis Ceballos to try and get the ball away for Real Madrid, and they do so through Chuman in now. Marcus Asensio gets the ball out wide to David Alaba. Alaba gets the ball down the line to Karim Benzema. And Real Madrid eventually inside the Man City half again. Not for the first time in the second half, we've seen Real Madrid inside the opposition half of the field and camping Man City inside their own half, giving them a taste of their own medicine. Vinicius Junior down the left-hand side. Back he goes into the path there of the Real Madrid players in towards the penalty area, looking towards Karim Benzema. Phil Foden intercepts there and gets the ball back to John Stones, who clears up to Riyad Mahrez. Mahrez holds up possession well, drops the ball back to Rodri, and now here comes Kyle Walker into Jack Grealish. Grealish has got the ball over on that far side. The ball is out of with Riyad Mahrez on that far side. Can he keep attacking for Man City? He does. Mahrez drops it to Grealish. Mahrez again. Rodri. Stones. It's got Bernardo on this near side of the left in acres of space if he opts to go for him. He goes to Phil Foden instead, and out wide to Grealish, who's switched across to that right hand side now. Far right hand side as we look. Here's Kyle Walker. Phil Foden. Jack Grealish. And Grealish cuts in field. Still going Jack Grealish. Finds Bernardo Silva. And now Manuel Akanji. Good bit of play from Real Madrid to get back in there with Lucas Vazquez, and back to Thibaut Courtois to stop Man City's attack there. Lucas Vazquez just spins away from Phil Foden and Erling Haaland, and there's an header, just can't keep the ball in play there. Dennis Ceballos is out of play for a throw into Real Madrid to Manchester City, as Julian Alvarez is about to come on for Manchester City, and he is replacing man of the moment. No goals today, which performance has been absolutely outstanding. Erling Haaland takes the applause, which is quite rightly too as well in my opinion, Paul. Fantastic performance from him without even getting on the score sheet tonight.
Yeah, he's done very, very well. He's made a pain of himself in the penalty area. And he's forced a good save out of Thibaut Courtois as well. So he's done his job tonight.
Yes, and Ryan Clark has been on. Big thank you to you, Ryan. Hopefully you're doing okay, my friend. He says, well done to Man City, doing better than your rivals from Barnsley. I think he's a Barnsley fan, so good luck to Barnsley in the playoffs on Friday against Bolton Wanderers. As Real Madrid concede a free kick, as we're coming up towards stoppage time now. 70 minutes of stoppage time is going to be given in a moment, and then we'll get Paul James's player of the match next time the ball goes dead or out of play for a throw-in. It remains Man City 3, Real Madrid 0, as Man City just keeping the ball well. Is out of play for a throw. Coming up towards the final 10 seconds of normal time then, Paul. And just give you his overall assessment on the game so far. Well, tonight that
Well,
you've seen.
yeah, it's been pretty dominant, hasn't it? There's been a fairly straightforward performance by Manchester City. I think that they've performed very, very well, and I don't think they've had anything to complain about of Real Madrid. I think they've been well and truly beaten today.
Yes, as Real Madrid, as Man City winger Jack Grealish picks up a yellow card for a foul there on Lucas Vazquez. And now Phil Foden's got the ball back for Man City. We'll get your player of the match in a second, Paul. I've not forgotten about that. As here's Phil Foden, edge of the penalty, rolls the ball through. Oh, he never is his fall. Man City go 4-0 up. 5-1 in aggregate. And now, Paul, this is well and truly game, set, and match for Manchester City through to the Champions League final.
Oh, it was
If it wasn't already.
Oh yeah, I mean it was already over. That's just a cherry on top of the cake. There's nothing that you can say. There's nothing Real Madrid can say. They've just been outclassed today by a Manchester City team that has just been playing outstanding football. And you just look at this. Look at this play. They gave the ball away in the centre circle straight away. The slide, the pass here, just like that, splits the two defenders. Phil Foden's pass. Look at this. Splits the two defenders, right on for his Alvarez. Nobody tracking him. Past the goalkeeper. 4-0. It's been very, very, very straightforward by Manchester City. Their performances have been outstanding. Real Madrid have had no answer. City deserve it. There's no question about it.
Absolutely, Paul, absolutely. And we're going to get in a moment your player of the match, but what would just a penny of the thoughts for Carlo Ancelotti? What do you think he'll be saying to his players right now?
What can you say? You can pick out individual errors from the performance. You can pick out the first half as a terrible performance, but you just have to sometimes give credit where it's due. Like Manchester City have been amazing today. You just sometimes have to take your hat off and say we were beaten by a much better team.
Yes, and Paul, while you're speaking about Real Madrid and Man City being the better team, I think it's time that you give who you think has been the better player in the match. In your player of the match.
It would be very cliche, wouldn't it, to give it to Bernardo Silva because his performance has just been superb. But I'm going to give it to Kevin De Bruyne. I always look upon a player of the match as having the most impact on the game as a whole. And for me, Kevin De Bruyne has done that today. He's dominated the midfield. Real Madrid have not been able to handle it. He's assisted on 2 of the goals. For me, it's Kevin De Bruyne.
Yes, and while Paul was explaining his player of the match, the full-time whistle has gone and Manchester City are in the Champions League final. They will face Inter Milan in the Champions League final. It's finished Manchester City 4, Real Madrid 0, Man City 5, Real Madrid 1 on aggregate. Man City are in the Champions League final against Inter Milan on the 10th of May. But let's run you through the game as a whole from the end. It all started on 23 minutes when Bernardo Silva opened the scoring for Manchester City. He then doubled his lead on 37 minutes. His lead and Man City's lead to make it 3-1 in aggregate, 2-0 on the night. It was then 4-1 in aggregate when Eder Militao put through his own net with 14 minutes to go. And then in the 91st minute, it was game, it was set, it was match for Manchester City, who secured all their passages and all their birthday presents, all their Christmas presents came at once as they secured their Champions League final spot against Inter Milan. Full time in this game, Man City 4, Real Madrid 0. Man City 5, Real Madrid 1, and Man City will play Inter in the UEFA Champions League final. Paul, what a final we're going to get there.
Yeah, it's going to be a good final, but I'll be honest with you, I don't fancy Inter's chances. I know it's early for me to say that, and maybe I'm being a bit naive by making that prediction at this stage. But for me, Ross, I don't see, looking at that and looking at the way this Manchester City team has been playing, not just in this game but in recent weeks, I don't fancy Inter's chances.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. Absolutely, my friend. And we're going to stay on for a bit longer winter stoppage time in the commentary game over on commentary up 2, which is stoppage time over there. And I was told there's been a minute of stoppage time which has been added on over in the game over on commentary up 2, which is between Middlesbrough and Coventry. And I can tell you this played around about 5 minutes then. It's still Middlesbrough 0, Coventry City 1. Full commentary on that game in the closing stages will be on commentary up 2 with Nicholas Jones. But Paul, looking at this Manchester City side after what we've seen this evening, it was a fantastic performance from the citizens overall. One question to you, Paul. Can anyone stop Man City from winning the treble?
I don't know. I don't think so. With it being a derby in the FA Cup final, and sometimes you see Manchester United raise themselves when they play their city rivals. But honestly, the way watching that, I don't know there's anybody who is capable of stopping Manchester City right now.
Yes, and do you reckon? We know Arsenal's been on a bit of a wobble recently, Paul, and Forest have picked up a few decent runs and a couple of wins here and there, and a couple of good performances in a row. Do you see Man City winning the Premier League title before the game against Chelsea's even played on Sunday, or do you
Well, it's
think he'll have
possible.
to go to Sunday?
No, I think it's very possible. I think Arsenal will want to correct the performance against Brighton, so it'd be a tough game for Nottingham Forest. But if they can so much as get a point out of it, with the goal difference, I think the title's won at that point anyway. But it's a de facto state then that City are champions. The goal difference is just too great. But to be honest with you, given the way Arsenal played against Brighton, I think it's quite possible that they could end up losing to Nottingham Forest at the weekend. Of course, for you as a Leeds fan, you better hope they don't, because that really would then make Forest safe and would leave you and Everton fighting it out head to head to stay up. But I think it's very possible that it could be won on Saturday.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. Absolutely. Getting towards the closing stages of that game in the EFL Championship playoff. About a minute to go in that one between Middlesbrough and Coventry. And Coventry still lead 1-0, I am told, thanks to Gustavo Amer's strike on 57 minutes to be the difference in that game. Nicholas has seen one goal. We've seen four. So if Nicholas is listening to any of this, we're sorry, Nicholas. We're still the most goals in this game, my friend. Me and Paul are very, very sorry about that this evening. And Paul, just looking at Real Madrid, obviously they've lost the La Liga title. They've lost out in the Champions League at the semi-final stage this season. Where do they turn to next? And Ancelotti's name has been on the forefront, and potential that he could end up leaving the club at the end of the season. Whatever happens in that game, whatever happens this season anyway. They've lost in the Champions League in the semi-finals to Man City. They lost the La Liga title to Barcelona, one of their bitter rivals over there as well. Where do Real Madrid turn to next if Ancelotti does go? Who do you think will be the next in line, and who do you think will take on the job of that calibre in Real Madrid?
Again, it's one of them, isn't it? Like, why would you fire him? You've had one season without winning something. Is it, so you fire him? I think it's. I just think it's sheer. I mean, okay, I know Real Madrid are huge giants in European football, and they expect to do very well in the Champions League. They have won it 5 out of the last 10 years. And obviously La Liga as well, they expect to dominate that. But the reality of the fact is it's very arrogant to think that you can win something every year, regardless of the side that you've got. It's arrogant to win that you're going to win La Liga every year. It's arrogant to think that you're going to win the Champions League every year. No, I don't think it's a good idea to get rid of him at all.
Yes, I'm not sure, Paul. So I'm just having a quick check while you were talking there. So I'm just having a quick look here now, but I'm not sure when his contract is up. And I think, if I remember correctly from what I've been reading and seeing in the last few weeks, reports over the last few weeks, his contract is up at the end of next season in 2024. But there's a reluctance of him not to extend beyond this season anyway, looking like he wants to leave himself anyway rather than him being sacked. So if he was to resign rather than being sacked, where do you think he'd end up next, and where do you think Real Madrid were to go to next?
Well, if he was to quit, if he was to resign, at that point, I always say it's probably good for a manager once he resigns or is fired to just maybe take a little bit of time to himself to, just sort of get over that, put his mind in the right frame of mind for the next challenge that he faces. As for Real Madrid, there's options out there, but who are they going to get? That's the thing. You might say they've got the picker managers. They might even want to make a move for Pep Guardiola, but it's a matter of whether or not you'd want to go there. If I was a successful football manager, places like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich are not places I would want to go. Chelsea, not places I would want to go. Because the constant pressure to constantly win something every year is just too much, and it's quite unreasonable. There are a lot of good teams out there, strong teams in Europe, and nationally. It's I don't think I'd like to be in one of those type of toxic environments. Incidentally, Ross, it looks like Coventry City have beaten Middlesbrough.
Yes, just like to say, over on the Commentary Up 2 commentary this evening with Nicholas Jones, going to out after you finish listening to us, Middlesbrough are out of the playoffs at the semi-finals. They will remain in the Championship next season. Coventry City have won by 1-0. Gustavo Amer's goal on 57 minutes. Coventry City will play Luton on the 27th of May, Saturday the 27th of May at 4:45. We'll be able to hear commentary on that on all T-Sub frequencies with myself, and I'll have Nicholas Jones alongside me for that one to see who gets promoted to the Premier League next season. As we just check on the Women's Super League score, West Ham are trailing by 3-0 against Chelsea in the Women's Super League in that one there. That's all we've got time for here on the commentary. And just before we do leave you, there'll be an announcement coming out in the next day or so over on our social media platforms, which is going to be kept between yourselves for now. Hopefully in the near future will be announced in the near future, probably at the end of the season we'll announce this. But we've got there's going to be a big announcement to our commentary colleagues later this evening, and hopefully you all, our listeners, will find out in due course as well. But hopefully our commentary contributors will enjoy listening to that. But for myself and from Paul, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again very soon in the near future. More of the team here. Good night.